My Private Ghost by Al Romankowitz. I was not a miner, but was hired as a car push in the winter of 1946 for $2 a day and room and board. We were in the mine, 80 feet below the surface by 7 a.m. until anywhere from 9 p.m. to midnight, depending on how well the blasting went. My job was to push the half-ton cars of coal from where it was being mined to the mine shaft where it was hauled up by cable and dumped into waiting trucks, wagons, or sleighs. The track in the mine from where the coal was mined to the mine head was on a slight uphill grade, so it was hard work pushing a half-ton load of coal uphill. Going back with the car was a lot easier. I just gave the car a little push, hopped on, and scooted down the track to the first turntable. There I pushed the car to wherever the miners were working. This particular mine was only a little over 4 feet high, which meant you had to work hunched over all the time. It was extremely hard to get used to. There was only about a foot between the top of the car and the roof of the mine. In order to load a full half-ton, the cars were piled quite high with coal. Sometimes as I pushed a car along, it would jam tight against a low part of the roof, or the coal would be knocked off and fall on my feet, and I would trip over it. When I rode an empty car back, I had to be careful and not stick my head over the top too high, as I could hit a low spot on the roof and get badly hurt because the car was moving at a pretty fast clip. One day, I got brave, and I peeked over the top. The force of the wind blew out my carbide lamp, and I was in total darkness. At that very moment, the car hit one of those pieces of coal on the track, jumped off, and came to a sudden stop. Here I was, halfway between the mine head and the first turntable, all alone, with no light and a coal car off its track. I tried to get my light going, but it was no use. What could the problem be? Perhaps the orifice is plugged up so the gas can't come out. I checked it with pokes from a handy needle we each carried in our cap, but that wasn't the problem. Well then, maybe the water valve is plugged. I checked the carbide and it was dry. There was nothing else to do but take my light apart. This was no easy task in total darkness. I no sooner had my light in pieces when, in the distance, I heard a funny sort of fluttering sound. It wasn't any of the miners because the sound was too close for that. Besides, there wasn't any light, and no self-respecting miner would be roaming around in the dark. I heard it again, only a little louder, and this time it was accompanied by a sort of croaking, gurgling sound, and I thought I could hear a little rustling in the shale. Now, I'm about 16 years old, and I know that there are no ghosts, but there is definitely something out there. No one had ever mentioned a ghost, and the idea of a miner pulling a trick on me at this exact moment was very remote. Besides, the money was too hard to come by to waste their time on such foolishness. Well, there's that sound again. Only louder. It's cool down in the mine, but I am sweating profusely. My hands are so wet that I can hardly hold on to anything. Croaking and gurgling sounds, but much closer. Now I can hear the slow footsteps in the shale. Well, I tell myself it can't be a ghost, because don't all ghosts drag a chain, and you can hear it clinking as they walk? But then, maybe all ghosts don't drag a chain. Now it's much louder. It's too far to grope my way back to the mine shaft in total darkness. I can't go to the end of the mine where the guys are working because it is between me and them. Even if I had a place to run, I wouldn't be able to because my legs are like jelly. Oh, if only I could get this damn light working. My hands are trembling so badly that I dropped the water bowl and it rolled away. Oh, where the blazes is it? When I finally located it, I found that almost all the water had spilled out. I had a hard time to keep all the sweat wiped away so it wouldn't run into my eyes. And I could sense that thing only a few feet from me now. Oh, that awful gurgling sound. I know exactly what it is. I read about it once, and here I'm going to be face to face with it. This thing had its head chopped off and was carrying it under its arm. In my mind's eye, I could see the blood bubbling where its windpipe should be every time it took a breath. Now it's only feet away from me. I've never heard such an awful sound in my life. Oh, I've got to get this lamp going. With my luck, the flint will be all used up and I don't have a match. I picked up the carbide bowl to spit in it with the... What the... No spit. I had sweat so much my mouth was dry as the Sahara Desert. I know that if I reach out, I'd be able to touch this thing because I can feel a light breeze coming from that direction. That horrible sound was driving me crazy. I'd been sitting cross-legged for what seemed like hours, probably 4 minutes, and my legs felt numb. I couldn't run if I wanted to. I can't see this thing, but I was sure it can see me because it came straight for me. Damn this light! I spun the striker wheel once more and voila! Behold, there was light. I held it up and looked into one beady little red eye not 2 feet away, stuck into the side of the ugliest head I'd ever seen. A horrible, long, wrinkled nose hung down past its chin, and there was that awful fluttering, gurgling sound again, and also that faint breeze. Now there was even a smell wafting on the breeze. When my eyes finally adjusted to the light and my brain came back to reality, I saw that I was sitting nose to beak with a turkey? I guess the dumb bird heard something and came over to investigate. When I finally got back to where the other guys were working, they hadn't even missed me because I wasn't gone all that long. I didn't mention a thing to them. Later at supper time, I casually said to the boss's wife, "Did you know that there's a turkey down in the mine?" "Oh, no, not again," she said. "The turkeys roost on the tipple, and if there isn't room for them all, they push one off, and if my husband forgets to cover the shaft, the turkey lands in the mine." I drank about 8 glasses of water at supper time to replenish the sweat I'd lost and thought, all this for a stupid turkey.